Good morning, brothers and sisters. Today I want to make a short video covering a very touchy topic called mental health. And what I want to discuss and what I want to tell you today is that this whole mental health awareness and diagnosis, if you will, is creating victims. It's creating identities that are not helping people overcome their mental health issues, their depression, their thinking. And I'm going to give you an example why, and I'm going to tell you why first, why there's even a problem and why there is so much mental health issues right now, and why there's a pandemic, why there's so many people committing suicide and so many people going out and killing. um, there is a problem, but the problem uh, is not fixed by being aware of it or medicating it or um, offering support. The root of the problem is much deeper than that, and nobody is willing to talk about it or willing to go deep down and look at what really is going on. And I'm going to just give you my point of view here, and for those of you that do have, that suffer with some facets of the mind, and that are depressed or that are going through something, then this might be particularly relevant for you, because my belief is that when you understand why it's happened and why you have the thinking that you have, then it's easier to overcome it. So I want you to imagine, or not imagine, I just want you to think about what I'm going to say here. And I want you to think about society as a whole, and how it works, and how things happen and how people develop. And now imagine, you're a young person, and you're brought up into this world, and immediately, you're thrown into an education system, and you're taught that you have to be somebody, and in order to be somebody, you have to be, successful, have a great career. Um, you have to fit in to the current model of society, and if you're not quite fitting in, then this is where the problems begin. So, imagine you're a young person, and this might resonate with a lot of people that are watching, because it resonates with me. Um, is that, what if you're brought up and you're taught that you have to be somebody, or be a certain way, or behave a certain way, and wear certain clothes. You get to school, and you get to junior high, and you got to wear the right clothes so you can be around the right people. You see it on TV, you watch movies, and you're starting to create this anxiety inside yourself to be something, or to be somebody, that you're supposed to fit into this mold. And the problem is that, as whole human beings, we struggle with it, because if we're not fitting into that external view of how we should fit into society, then we start to have an internal conflict. We start thinking that something's wrong with us, that we're not right, we're not fitting into the mold. If I don't wear the right clothes, and I'm an outcast, and immediately I start questioning myself. If I don't get the right job, or meet up to, or I'm not meeting the standards that my parents expect, or my teachers expect, or society expects, then I start feeling, you know, challenged, and I get anxious, and life doesn't look so good for me. Um, and and this happens. This is part of our socioeconomic model of the world. And the problem is, if you are a little bit different, and you struggle with this belief that you should be somebody in the way that it's presented to you, then there's an internal conflict, because there is nothing wrong with you. On the contrary, the people that struggle with the idea of fitting in and becoming successful in a certain way, and having to be a certain way, it's a struggle. But the people who struggle with it are the real free spirits. They're struggling because it doesn't make sense to them. They just want to be them. you know? And I think that's the major problem with the society today. And then as you get older, people tell you, well, maybe there's something wrong with you mentally. Maybe you should see a doctor. Maybe you should see a psychologist because, you're not quite fitting in. Something's probably wrong with you. And that starts to, further deteriorate your thinking and your process. And I think that's why we have a pandemic, because people are lost. And they're not lost, it's not their fault. They're lost because everything around them is creating this issue when there is no issue. It's perfectly normal to feel depressed sometimes, to be down. It's perfectly normal to feel like things aren't going your way, and just can't get out of that vicious circle. It's normal. And once you understand that, once you understand why you feel the way you do, then you have a real chance of changing it. Right now, this mental health awareness and thing, and it's, in some aspects, it's great because there are people that, have gone too far and might be, subject to doing harm to themselves and others, and they might need, we need to be aware of that so we can help them. But the problem is not that. The problem is now we're allowing people to openly be victims and identify with their mental issues. People are now identifying with this problem. And when you identify with the problem, then you become that problem. That's the worst solution. It's the worst way out. I'm not saying you should keep things bottled inside. That's not what I'm saying. But it's not about victimization. It's not about saying, I'm this because of my problem, because you don't know what I've been through. This kind of talk, this kind of thing just amplifies the whole feeling of alienation that has caused the issue in the first place. For me, what I found and what I experienced in my life is that the only time I was able to really understand and overcome my depression and my issues with drugs and alcohol is when I started to find a little bit more spirituality in my life. And I'm not talking about you have to, become, meditate every day and become this like spiritual person or follow God or find a religion. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is it's okay to sometimes just turn off and just, be around nature, go around nature, just kind of understand that you already have all the answers, that you are perfect in every way. And not to feel like you're a victim, because it's just a facet of your mind that's not right. And you can fix that facet. You can become aware of your thinking. And once you become aware of your thinking, you can find time to shut off your thinking and just allow yourself to be present and be open to the magic of life. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there because we can go on and on. But if you have any comments, please post them. But all I can say right now is, you're not a victim, um, and it's normal to go through certain stages in life where you're not so good and you feel like you don't fit in. It's okay, but you have to understand. Once you understand why you feel that way or think that way, then you really got a good chance of changing it. And also find time to be peaceful, to connect with nature, and just really be in awe of the magic that is life. And you'll find that in itself will start to change your thinking. And there's a lot of other techniques that you can use. So yeah, thanks for listening. I hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.